Welcome to Bible Study with Fred. Today I'm reading Proverbs chapter 11, starting in verse 1. We'll see how far I get. The false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. When I began to look at this verse, on the surface it simply seemed to be about an honest measure. After all, we have government agencies to make sure that what the gas pump says you are pumping into your car is accurate and truthful. These agencies have the power to call into account businesses that deceive and lie about the amount of almost anything you buy and its contents. It's clear that God does not approve of a merchant deceiving someone with regard to weights and balances. But there's more to it than that. God approves of fairness, a level playing field where everyone has the same opportunity. We've come far in this country in that we don't say you can't achieve or even survive because of the color of your skin or your national origin. Undoubtedly, we've gone too far and perverted the concept of what's fair and reasonable. But the point is that God's delight is in honest measurements. Notice I didn't say even measurements, because that's a different argument entirely. The point here is that God does not approve of the fisherman who catches a fish in a tournament and shoves weights down its throat to cheat the scale and win a prize, any more than he approves of the merchant whose scale says you're buying a greater weight of meat than you actually are. And further, nor does he approve of an industry that says, sure, you can start a new business and compete with us, while the established businesses all agree to shut you out and keep you from competing either by extortion, threatening their suppliers not to work with you, or by appealing to the government for regulation that would shut you down. In the building industry, it would also be like the customer expecting that for his money, he was getting a certain strength concrete wall, and that by testing it, it appeared that he was. But in reality, the wall was weakened by too much water. It is deception, trickery, and craft do such things, and God will not honor it. Now we come to a different topic, if you'll bear with me. Proverbs 11:2. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. Now there are certain things about pride that you should know if you're experiencing that sentiment. Psalm 10:2. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Verse 4, Psalm 10. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. Later in Proverbs, we'll see how pride precedes destruction. Pride is a spirit that places you on a par with God or even above God. Pride was Satan's iniquity, the first sin of a created creature. Pride has built empires on the graves of the murdered and fortunes on the backs of people barely able to survive each day with their pay. For the Hebrews, shame was promised after pride came, but for those who are lowly and humble, there is wisdom. Pride is highly valued in our culture. We are a proud people. Instead of saying, quote, I've been blessed by seeing what you've done, when a child does well, the parent usually says, I'm proud of you. We rarely give God the credit for anything as a culture. Our Supreme Court permits In God We Trust on our coinage and opens their own sessions with something like, quote, God save the United States in this honorable court, because they call it ceremonial deism. In other words, we say it, but it's okay because we don't really mean it. We are a proud people. One of the shocks of 9/11 was that symbols of our economic power were brought down by our own devices, passenger airliners, or so we're told. We are proud. When we think of Sodom, we think of homosexual perversion. But look at the list of Sodom's sins and the first reason for the city's destruction listed in Ezekiel. Ezekiel 16:9. Behold, this was the iniquity of thy sister Sodom. Pride, fullness of bread, and abundance of idleness was in her and in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and needy. God has much more to say about pride in Proverbs. Remember that it is only by God's grace and mercy that you are walking around and not suffering horribly in this fallen world, a condition which many people around the world find themselves. Don't be proud, because when you, the Christian, stand before Christ, you'll know the truth about your supposed accomplishments and you will be ashamed. God blessed you, and like Nebuchadnezzar, you looked around and commented on how great the things you had done were. All right, so we'll stop there and pick it up in verse 3 the next time. Please read your Bible, study your Bible, cross-reference the verses, and pray to God for wisdom and understanding. If you watched the video this far, please click share and like or follow, subscribe. Please click like. Yeah, sorry. Please click like and follow or subscribe. And then we'll pick it up in verse 3 next time. You can purchase my comments on Amazon and Kindle or paperback form. Follow me on Blogger or just here. Thank you.